Chosen one. You're not meant to be rich loud. You're meant to be rich right. Do you know why I ask again? Do you know why, chosen one, you are not watching this by accident? This moment has been arranged by heaven itself. The same God who orders your steps has aligned your spirit to hear this word now. You didn't click this video out of curiosity, you were summoned. Because you are standing at the edge of a supernatural shift, and heaven is preparing you for wealth that will not destroy your peace. Chosen one. You've seen it with your own eyes. People who got rich too fast lost their families. People who flaunted money lost their minds. People who turned wealth into competition never felt full. And somewhere along the way, your spirit quietly said, "That is not the life I want." That whisper was wisdom. You are not craving loud riches. You are craving quiet stability. You are not asking to be admired. You are asking to be aligned. You don't want wealth that forces you to perform. You want wealth that lets you breathe, that protects your character, that honors who you are becoming. As it is written in Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 3, the vision awaits its appointed time. And chosen one, this message is part of that timing. Stay with me, because in this video we will decode every layer of what it truly means to be rich right. Before we go any further, subscribe now so you stay connected to this prophetic flow. And comment 777 as a covenant with yourself that you will listen fully, walk wisely, and become the kind of chosen riches heaven can trust. Chosen one, I need you to hear this slowly and clearly. You are not asking the wrong questions. You are not weak because you feel tired. And you are not behind because your life doesn't look loud. Heaven does not measure worth the way the world does. While others chase speed, God watches stability. While others perform for applause, heaven prepares you for trust. There was a season in my own life where I kept asking, what am I doing wrong? I worked hard. I showed up. I carried responsibility. But inside there was a quiet exhaustion, not the kind that sleep fixes, but the kind that comes from feeling like your effort isn't aligned with meaning. And it was in that season that I learned this truth: not every delay is resistance. Some delays are protection. Chosen one. The world teaches you to chase wealth like a finish line. Heaven teaches you to receive wealth like an assignment. There is a difference. When money comes before maturity, it magnifies cracks. I've seen people get everything they prayed for and lose everything they loved. Families fractured, minds overwhelmed, peace evaporated, and the Spirit whispered something that changed me forever. This is why I didn't let it come early. You are not meant to be rich loud. Loud wealth needs witnesses. Right wealth needs wisdom. Loud wealth needs validation. Right wealth needs alignment. And alignment is forged in ordinary seasons, seasons where you show up when no one claps, where you carry weight without recognition, where you learn to work, not for praise, but for provision. Chosen one. There is nothing shameful about working to live. Heaven is not offended by your need to provide. Scripture teaches that a worker is worthy of their wages, and dignity is found in honest labor. What drains the soul is not the work, it's the expectation we attach to it. When we expect a job to give us identity, validation, or purpose, it will crush us. But when we understand work as a vessel that sustains life while God shapes character, everything changes. I remember a time when I didn't love what I was doing. I didn't wake up inspired, I woke up responsible. And I learned something sacred in that season: doing what is necessary does not disqualify you from destiny. Sometimes it is the very ground where destiny is trained. Heaven watches how you carry what you don't love yet. Because if you can steward the ordinary without resentment, you can steward the extraordinary without corruption. Chosen one wealth is not impressed by hunger. It responds to order. It stays with people who are not constantly reaching for more to fill an inner lack. This is why comparison is dangerous. The moment you measure your life against someone else's timeline, you hand your peace away. Everyone you see thriving publicly is paying privately, and many of the people you envy are secretly asking God for the peace you already carry. There was a time I thought being ahead mattered. Then life taught me that being aligned matters more. I've met people who looked successful but were exhausted in ways money couldn't heal. And I've met people living quietly, steadily, who slept well, loved deeply, and had a clarity about life that wealth could not buy yet. Heaven always funds those who are already rich in peace. Chosen one. This is why your life feels ordinary. It's not punishment. It's training. You are learning how to live without needing constant stimulation, validation, or applause. You are learning how to find value without comparison. And this is essential because money amplifies who you already are. If peace is not established now, wealth will expose that absence later. Do you know why competition disqualifies people from lasting wealth? Because competition is rooted in fear. Fear of not having enough, fear of being seen as less, fear of falling behind. But heaven's economy is not driven by fear. It is driven by trust. And trust is given to those who do not need to prove themselves. Chosen one, you are being prepared to hold wealth without losing yourself. That is rare. That is sacred. That is why the process feels slow. As it is written in Ecclesiastes, there is a time for everything under heaven. Timing is not about readiness of opportunity, it is about readiness of the soul. You may feel like you've been walking faithfully without visible reward. But heaven has been taking notes. Every season where you chose integrity over shortcuts. Every moment where you refused to perform for approval. Every time you worked honestly, loved quietly, and endured without bitterness, those moments built capacity. And I need to say this clearly, you are not meant to escape life, you are meant to steward it. Wealth that arrives as an escape will enslave you. Wealth that arrives as stewardship will serve you. That is rich right. So if you've been feeling restless, bored, or quietly dissatisfied, don't condemn yourself. Ask a better question. Not, why am I not there yet, but what is being formed in me right now? Because heaven never delays without purpose. And the kind of wealth assigned to you is not loud, it is lasting. Stay with me, chosen one. What you are becoming matters more than what you are receiving. Chosen one. There is a truth many people never learn until it is too late. Not every door that opens is sent by heaven. Some doors are tests. Some opportunities look like blessings, but carry a cost your soul is not meant to pay. That is why discernment matters more than speed, and alignment matters more than appearance. I want to speak to the part of you that has felt conflicted, the part that wonders why you are capable of more, yet still living what feels like an ordinary life. You see others rise quickly. You watch stories of overnight success. And quietly a question forms in your spirit. Why not me? But heaven is not silent in this season. Heaven is deliberate. Chosen one. Wealth that comes too early does not feel like provision. It feels like pressure. Pressure to maintain an image. Pressure to outperform. Pressure to never slow down. I have walked with people who reached financial heights they were not ready for. And I've seen how quickly joy turns into anxiety when money becomes the thing holding their identity together. What the world calls success, heaven often calls exposure. There was a season when I thought rest would come after achievement. I believed peace was a reward for endurance, but life taught me the opposite. Peace must come first, or achievement becomes a prison. That lesson did not come through abundance, it came through limits. through learning how to live fully without excess, through discovering that enough when received with gratitude carries more power than more received with fear. Chosen one. You were never meant to be driven by constant wanting. Wanting creates noise in the soul. It keeps you restless, dissatisfied, always reaching. But heaven trains those it trusts to live from contentment, not craving. Scripture reminds us that godliness with contentment is great gain, not because contentment replaces provision, but because it prepares the heart to receive without being ruled by what it receives. This is why simple seasons matter. They teach you how little you actually need to be whole. They show you that joy does not require excess. They reveal that peace is not purchased, it is practiced. And when wealth eventually enters the life of someone who already knows how to live simply, it does not overwhelm them. It serves them. Chosen one. There is a reason your life has required patience. A reason your growth has been gradual. A reason your path has not been dramatic. Heaven is teaching you how to move without panic, how to make decisions without urgency, how to say no without guilt. These are not small skills. These are the very qualities that protect wealth once it arrives. I want you to hear this clearly. Money does not change people, it unmasks them. If comparison lives in your heart, now wealth will amplify it. If insecurity whispers, now wealth will magnify it. But if peace governs you now, wealth will multiply it. This is why heaven works on the inner life first. The visible outcome is never the priority, the vessel is. There were moments in my own journey where I felt unseen. I did what was required, not what was glamorous. I showed up when no one noticed, and at the time I thought those seasons were wasted. But looking back, I see they were refining me. They were teaching me how to be faithful without affirmation, steady without applause, grounded without reward. Those lessons became anchors later. Chosen one. This is what it means to be rich right. It means you do not rush outcomes. You do not force timelines. You do not chase validation through accumulation. You understand that life is not a competition and wealth is not a scoreboard. Everyone is walking a different path, carrying different assignments, facing different tests. Comparison only distracts you from your own preparation. Heaven does not ask you to be impressive. Heaven asks you to be faithful. Faithful with what you have. Faithful with where you are. Faithful with who you are becoming. And faithfulness has a way of attracting provision without striving. When your hands are steady and your heart is settled, doors open without you knocking them down. Chosen one. If you are working right now just to sustain life, that is not failure. That is dignity. There is honor in providing. There is honor in consistency. There is honor in showing up day after day, even when the work does not excite you. Heaven sees the difference between resentment and responsibility, and responsibility handled with grace becomes stewardship. Do not despise the season where your work feels ordinary. Ordinary seasons build extraordinary capacity. They teach you discipline. They teach you boundaries. They teach you how to manage energy, not just money. Because wealth does not only demand financial intelligence, it demands emotional maturity. And let me say this gently, not every dream needs to be pursued immediately. Timing matters, preparation matters, readiness matters. When you are truly ready, you will not feel desperate. You will feel clear. You will not feel rushed. You will feel steady. As it is written in Isaiah, those who wait upon the Lord renew their strength. Waiting is not stagnation, it is alignment. Chosen one. Heaven is not asking you to quit everything or endure everything. Wisdom knows when to stay and when to move. But wisdom never moves out of panic. It moves out of peace. If you ever feel forced, pressured, or rushed into a decision, pause. Heaven does not drive, it leads. You are learning how to live without being consumed by outcomes, how to work without attaching your worth to results, how to love life as it is, not only as it could be. These lessons form a foundation that wealth cannot shake. So if your life feels quiet right now, do not mistake silence for stagnation. Seeds grow in silence. Roots deepen where no one is watching. And when the time comes for elevation, it will not feel shocking. It will feel fitting. Chosen one. You are not meant to be rich loud. You are meant to be rich right. And everything in this season is aligning you for that kind of life, a life where provision meets peace, where abundance does not cost you yourself, and where what you carry can finally rest in who you have become. Chosen one. I want to take you deeper now into a truth that reshapes how you see effort, struggle, and worth. Many people believe their exhaustion comes from doing too much. But most of the time, exhaustion comes from carrying what you were never meant to carry: expectations, comparisons, and silent pressure to become someone else. There was a long season in my life where I thought the answer was to push harder. If I just tried more, worked longer, proved myself louder, then peace would finally arrive. But instead of freedom, I felt heavier. And that's when I learned something sacred: effort without alignment drains you, but effort with clarity strengthens you. Chosen one, you were never meant to build wealth by grinding your soul down. Heaven does not require self-destruction as proof of devotion. The culture may celebrate burnout as ambition, but heaven calls it imbalance. God does not need you broken to bless you. He needs you whole. This is why the concept of rich right begins with learning how to work without worshipping work. When work becomes identity, money becomes a master, and anything that masters you will eventually exhaust you. But when work is understood as a tool, not a definition, it serves life instead of consuming it. I've met people who made more money than they ever imagined, yet could not rest. Even in moments of stillness, their minds raced. They had resources but no refuge, income but no inner peace. And I realized then that wealth without rest is poverty in disguise. Chosen one, rest is not laziness. Rest is a spiritual skill. It is the ability to trust that the world will not collapse if you stop pushing for a moment. It is the courage to believe that provision does not come solely from your striving. Scripture teaches that God gives rest to those He loves, not after they collapse, but as they learn to trust. You are learning that now. You are learning how to breathe again, how to live without urgency, how to let life unfold instead of forcing outcomes. This is not passivity. This is wisdom. There is a reason your journey has included limits. Limits reveal what truly matters. They teach you how to prioritize. They force you to confront the truth that you cannot be everything, do everything, or carry everyone. And that realization is not loss, it is freedom. Chosen one, wealth flows best through people who know their boundaries. Those who say yes to everything eventually lose themselves. Those who never stop proving eventually forget who they are. But those who move with intention, who choose depth over display, are trusted with more. This is where comparison quietly steals energy. The moment you measure your life against someone else's highlight reel, you step out of your own rhythm. And life lived out of rhythm always feels strained. Heaven never asked you to keep pace with others. Heaven asked you to stay aligned with your assignment. I remember a season where I questioned why my progress looked slower than others. But later I understood my path was building roots, not branches. And roots take time. But when storms come, it's not the tallest trees that survive, it's the deepest ones. Chosen. One competition creates noise. Noise clouds discernment. Discernment is essential for stewardship. This is why heaven does not rush you into abundance. Abundance requires clarity. It requires the ability to hear God over the crowd, wisdom over impulse, peace over pressure. You are being taught how to make decisions from a settled place, how to move without fear of missing out, how to trust that what is meant for you cannot pass you by. These lessons are not abstract, they shape how you will handle opportunity when it arrives. Many people think the greatest threat to wealth is lack of money, but in truth, the greatest threat is lack of self-awareness. When someone does not know themselves, money becomes a substitute for identity. It fills gaps it was never meant to fill, and eventually it becomes a burden. Chosen one, you are learning to live without excessive expectation of yourself, of others, of life. Expectation can motivate when it is light, but it suffocates when it is heavy. When you demand perfection from yourself, you live in constant disappointment. When you demand fulfillment from others, you live in constant frustration. But when you release unrealistic expectations, you regain peace. Peace is not resignation. Peace is acceptance without resistance. It is choosing to work with life instead of fighting it. And this posture does something powerful. It opens space. Space for clarity, space for creativity, space for provision to flow naturally instead of being forced. I've seen people leave stable paths too early, driven by impatience rather than readiness, and I've seen others stay too long out of fear rather than wisdom. The difference between the two is discernment. Discernment grows in quiet seasons, not chaotic ones. Chosen one. When you are aligned, decisions feel clear even when they are difficult. When you are misaligned, even good opportunities feel heavy. Learn to listen to that inner signal. It is one of the ways heaven guides you. You are not meant to live tense. Tension is a sign of resistance. Life, like a river, moves best when you stop fighting the current and learn how to flow with it. Pushing too hard against life creates drag. Moving with it creates momentum. This does not mean you stop trying, it means you stop forcing. There is a sacred difference. Force drains, flow sustains, and this is why gratitude matters. Gratitude grounds you in the present. It reminds you that life is happening now, not only after you arrive. When you learn to honor the season you are in, you stop rushing toward the next one, and in that stillness, you become aware of quiet blessings you once overlooked. Chosen one. Wealth is not only measured in what you gain, it is measured in what you keep. Your peace, your relationships, your integrity, your health. These are not extras, they are essentials. Any form of abundance that costs you these things is too expensive. You are being trained to value wholeness over hype, sustainability over speed, depth over display. This training may feel subtle, but it is profound. It is shaping you into someone who can receive more without being undone by it. So if your life feels slower than you expected, quieter than you imagined, simpler than the world celebrates, do not resist it. This is the environment where rich, right people are formed, where wealth is not chased but welcomed, where success does not shout but endures. Chosen one. Everything you are learning now is preparing you for a future that will not consume you. And when provision comes, it will not feel like pressure. It will feel like peace, meeting preparedness right on time. Chosen one. There comes a moment in every life when heaven invites you to release what you've been gripping too tightly. Not because it was evil, not because it failed, but because holding it the old way will not carry you into what comes next. This is the quiet invitation. Many miss the call to loosen your grip without losing your discipline. For a long time you may have believed that control was strength, planning every step, anticipating every risk, carrying every responsibility on your shoulders. You learned early that if you didn't hold it together, everything might fall apart, and so you became strong, capable, reliable, but strength without surrender eventually turns into strain. Chosen one. Heaven does not elevate people who cannot release control, not because control is sinful, but because it limits flow. Wealth, peace, and provision move like water. They respond to openness, not clenched fists. This is why many capable people remain exhausted. They are strong enough to build, but too tense to receive. There was a season when I realized I was doing everything right on the outside, yet feeling constantly tight on the inside. Even when good things happened, I could not enjoy them fully. I was always bracing for what might go wrong next. And it was in that season that I understood something sacred. Vigilance is not the same as wisdom. One keeps you alert, the other keeps you free. Chosen one being rich. Right requires a different posture, not passive, not careless, but surrendered. Surrender is not giving up responsibility. It is giving up the illusion that everything depends on you. Scripture teaches that unless the Lord builds the house, the builders labor in vain. That is not a rebuke, it is an invitation into partnership. When you release excessive control, you make room for alignment. Alignment is when effort and grace meet. When your work is supported by timing instead of rushed by fear. When doors open without you forcing them. When provision arrives without panic attached to it. Many people confuse surrender with weakness, but surrender is one of the highest forms of trust. It says, "I will do my part faithfully, and I will allow heaven to do what only heaven can do." This balance is rare, and those who find it become steady channels for provision. Chosen one. I want to speak to your relationship with expectations, the ones you placed on yourself and the ones you carry for others. Expectations can motivate, but they can also suffocate. When you expect yourself to always be strong, you deny yourself rest. When you expect others to fulfill you, you set yourself up for disappointment. And disappointment, when unprocessed, turns into resentment. Heaven is inviting you to lower unrealistic expectations, not your standards. Standards are about integrity. Expectations are often about control. Lowering expectations frees your energy. It allows you to move through life without constant friction. And energy freed from friction becomes available for creativity, clarity, and growth. I've seen people sabotage their own abundance because they were exhausted by expectations. They carried pressure they never questioned, pressure to succeed a certain way, pressure to appear a certain way, pressure to keep everyone comfortable. And slowly that pressure drained their capacity to enjoy what they were building. Chosen one. Wealth is not only about what you accumulate, it is about what you no longer carry. When you release the need to prove, you reclaim peace. When you release comparison, you reclaim joy. When you release constant urgency, you reclaim presence. And presence is where wisdom lives. There is a reason your journey has included moments of disappointment. Disappointment exposes misplaced attachment. It shows you where you expected fulfillment from places never designed to provide it. Jobs change, people change, seasons change. But when your sense of worth is anchored in something unchanging, transitions no longer feel like threats. Chosen one. Rich right. People understand impermanence. They know that nothing external is guaranteed, and that is why they do not cling. They enjoy fully, but they do not depend excessively. This posture creates resilience. When life shifts, they adjust without breaking. I want to speak to your relationship with approval. Approval can feel like oxygen, especially if you learned early to earn love through performance. But approval is unstable currency. It fluctuates. It disappears when you disappoint. It demands constant upkeep. Wealth built on approval will always feel insecure. Heaven does not reward people-pleasing. Heaven rewards faithfulness. Faithfulness is quiet. It is consistent. It is not dependent on applause. And because it is not tied to reaction, it creates internal stability. Stability attracts provision. Chosen one, when you stop performing, you start discerning. You hear more clearly. You feel more deeply. You make decisions from alignment instead of anxiety. This is why surrender leads to clarity. When you stop trying to manage every outcome, you begin to notice patterns, opportunities, and signals you once missed. There was a time when I feared letting go would mean losing momentum. But what actually happened was the opposite. When I released excessive control, life felt lighter. Decisions became simpler. I stopped chasing what drained me and started receiving what fit me. And nothing that truly belonged to me was lost. Chosen one, nothing meant for you requires desperation. Nothing assigned to you needs manipulation. If something demands that you abandon your peace, your integrity, or your health, it is too expensive, no matter how attractive it looks. This is why patience is power. Patience is not waiting idly. It is trusting actively. It is moving forward without panic. It is allowing time to reveal what force would distort. Patience preserves alignment. As it is written in Proverbs, the blessing of the Lord makes rich and adds no sorrow with it. That line matters. No sorrow, no inner conflict, no quiet regret. Rich right wealth does not come with a hidden invoice. Chosen one, you are being trained to recognize what carries peace and what carries pressure. This discernment will guide you when choices increase, when opportunities multiply, when options expand. Without it, abundance overwhelms. With it, abundance becomes sustainable. So if life has been teaching you to slow down, to breathe, to release, honor that lesson. You are not losing ground. You are gaining wisdom. You are not falling behind. You are being refined. Rich right people are not rushed into overflow. They are eased into it, so that when it comes, they are not surprised by it. They are ready for it. Chosen one, keep loosening your grip. Keep choosing alignment over appearance. Keep trusting that what is being formed within you is more valuable than what you are trying to secure outside of you. When the time comes, provision will not have to break you open to enter. You will already be open. Chosen one. There is a sacred shift that happens when you stop asking life to prove itself to you and you begin to receive life as it is. This is where gratitude becomes more than a habit, it becomes a gateway. Not the shallow gratitude that pretends everything is fine, but the deep gratitude that recognizes meaning even in unfinished seasons. For a long time, many people believe gratitude comes after abundance, after success, after relief. But heaven works in reverse. Gratitude is not the reward, it is the preparation. It is the posture that allows you to recognize provision while it is still forming. I remember a season when nothing looked impressive. My days were repetitive. My progress felt invisible. And yet something quiet was happening inside me. I began to notice the small mercies I had rushed past before: steady income, even if modest. A body that still carried me. People who showed up without fanfare. In that noticing, something softened. And when my grip softened, my awareness sharpened. Chosen one. Gratitude does not deny hardship. It reframes it. It says, this is not the whole story, but it is part of the story. And when you live this way, life stops feeling like something you must survive and starts feeling like something you are allowed to inhabit. This is why people who live rich right are not constantly chasing novelty. They are rooted. They understand that joy does not always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it whispers through ordinary moments, a quiet evening, a shared laugh, a sense of having done what needed to be done today. Heaven notices how you handle the ordinary, not because heaven is impressed by smallness, but because ordinary moments reveal character. Anyone can be grateful when life overflows, but gratitude in simplicity builds resilience. It trains the soul to stay open even when outcomes are incomplete. Chosen one. When you live without constant expectation, disappointment loses its power over you. Expectation says, life must perform for me to be at peace. Gratitude says peace is possible even while life unfolds. This shift alone frees enormous emotional energy. I've seen people sabotage their own blessings because they were waiting for life to feel perfect before they allowed themselves to feel thankful. And in that waiting, they missed what was already supporting them. Gratitude is not blind optimism. It is honest presence. There is a reason Scripture reminds us to give thanks in all circumstances. Not because every circumstance is good, but because gratitude keeps the heart from closing. A closed heart cannot receive. An open heart recognizes provision even when it arrives quietly. Chosen one. Wealth that lasts is carried by people who can appreciate what they have without clinging to it. Clinging creates fear of loss. Appreciation creates trust. And trust is the soil where abundance grows without strangling the roots. I want to speak to your relationship with enough. Enough is a powerful word. Enough does not mean you stop growing. It means you stop measuring your worth by lack. When you know what is enough for you, excess loses its grip. You no longer need to prove, impress, or accumulate to feel secure. People who do not know enough are easily controlled by desire. They work endlessly, spend compulsively, and rest rarely. But those who know enough move intentionally. They choose, they pause, they steward. Chosen one. This is why your life has been teaching you contentment, not to limit you, but to stabilize you. Contentment anchors you so that when more comes, it does not disorient you. It allows you to expand without losing center. I've learned that peace grows where appreciation lives. When you appreciate your current capacity, you stop resenting your current limitations. And when resentment fades, clarity emerges. You begin to see where to invest your energy and where to release it. This is the wisdom of flowing with life rather than fighting it. Life resists force. It responds to harmony. When you stop forcing yourself to be everywhere, everything and everyone, life meets you halfway. Opportunities align naturally. Relationships simplify. Decisions feel cleaner. Chosen one, rich right, living honors rhythm. There is a time to push and a time to rest. A time to build and a time to consolidate, a time to speak and a time to remain quiet. Ignoring rhythm leads to burnout. Honoring it leads to sustainability. I want you to notice how your body responds when you are aligned. There is less tension. Your breathing deepens. Your thoughts slow. These are not accidents. They are signals. Alignment feels like relief, not adrenaline. There were times when I ignored those signals, chasing what looked good instead of what felt right, and each time I paid for it with exhaustion. But when I began listening, truly listening, life became simpler, not easier, but clearer. Chosen. One, simplicity is not the enemy of abundance. It is the framework that supports it. When your life is cluttered with unnecessary wants, unnecessary expectations, and unnecessary noise, abundance feels overwhelming. But when your life is ordered, abundance feels manageable. This is why people who live rich right often appear calm, even when they have much. They are not managing chaos, they are stewarding flow. Their lives have space, and space is essential. Space allows you to respond instead of react. Gratitude also changes how you relate to people. When you stop expecting others to complete you, you begin to appreciate them as they are. This releases pressure from relationships. It allows love to exist without constant negotiation. Chosen one. No one is meant to be everything for you. Not a job, not a partner, not wealth itself. When you accept this, you stop loading your life with impossible demands, and life responds with gentleness. I've learned that when gratitude becomes your baseline, envy loses its voice. Comparison fades. You no longer feel the need to measure yourself against others because you are fully present in your own journey. And presence is powerful. This is how wealth becomes integrated rather than disruptive. Integrated wealth supports life instead of dominating it. It funds growth without erasing peace. It enhances experience without replacing meaning. Chosen one. The most dangerous form of poverty is not financial, it is the inability to appreciate. And the most reliable form of abundance begins with awareness. So if today your life feels simple, quiet, even unfinished, do not rush past it. Let gratitude anchor you here. Let appreciation refine you. Let contentment stabilize you. Because when the season shifts, and it will, you will not be overwhelmed by what arrives. You will recognize it, you will receive it, and you will steward it without losing yourself. This is the final layer of rich right. Not accumulation without end, but appreciation without fear. Not more at any cost, but enough with peace. Chosen one. A life lived this way is not only wealthy, it is whole. Chosen one, as this moment comes to a close, let your spirit rest in what has been released. Nothing you heard today was accidental. Every word met you at the exact point of your readiness. Heaven has been aligning you quietly, patiently, faithfully, and now the shift is already in motion. You are not behind, you are on time. This is your kairos moment, your divinely appointed season where what was formed in silence begins to move with grace. The wealth assigned to you will come without sorrow. The elevation prepared for you will not cost your peace, and the life unfolding before you will reflect wisdom, not noise. Anointed one, stay faithful to alignment. Keep your heart light, your hands open, and your spirit grateful. What is coming will meet you where you are not, where the world pressured you to be. As it is written, the blessing adds no burden, and that is the portion set before you. Go forward with reverence, walk gently, steward well, and look ahead with gratitude, knowing that heaven does not rush what it intends to sustain. If this word resonated with your spirit, remain connected, subscribe, and stay within this flow. And if you feel led, share this with someone who needs peace more than pressure. You may also leave a quiet confirmation below, comment your city as a sign of alignment and gratitude. Chosen one, you are covered, you are guided, and you are becoming everything this season was preparing you to be.